you had chemotherapy, I think, as the main treatment option for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. What do you remember about that time? Anything good at all?
Happy days.
It sounds quite intensive.
Yeah,
you had a particularly intrusive form because you needed that, didn't you, at the time? Do you want to explain what happened?
Yeah, when I was diagnosed, and I was actually having a CT scan, and when I came out of the CT scan, I'd got about half a dozen missed calls, which turned out to be the registrar saying, "We've got a bed for you tonight. You need to come in tonight." And I was quite angry because I hadn't eaten for a very long time. I said to him, "I need to get a sandwich, but I'll be there at 5 o'clock." So I was actually treated as an inpatient in my local hospital. And that meant that I was in hospital. I had six rounds of chemotherapy, so 6 months of treatment. And for the first 4 rounds of treatment, I would go into hospital, and I was in hospital for about 3 weeks at a time, in an isolation room, and then I would go home for a week. And that was a very odd period of time because I would go into hospital, I would take in my pillow, I had a little suitcase with bits and pieces, my iPad, CD player, that kind of thing. So I'd go into hospital for 3 weeks. Everything would be done for me. I'd be in a room on my own, which was bizarre because I'd gone from cycling to and from work and being at work and being very busy and being very active, and my world became really, really small. It became that, those 4 walls. So that was tough. It was tough adjusting to that. And the staff were brilliant. I mean, they talked to me, made me laugh, told me all sorts of funny stories. So that was great. So it was a tough time. So I had 4 rounds of treatment like that, and then the last 2 rounds it kind of shifted the other way. So I was in hospital for between 10 days and 10 days and 2 weeks, and then home for the rest of the month. So that was good, and I was told when I had a CT MRI scan after a couple of rounds of treatment, and I was told that the lymphoma had responded really well to the treatment, which was great. And when I finished treatment, I moved into remission, which is where I still am. But while I was, it was really bizarre going through treatment. As I said, I'm stuck in a room on my own. So I had to find ways to actually prepare myself and to manage what was happening to me. The way that I thought about it is that my body had been hit by the cancer, so the cancer had kind of run around my body. Then my body had to deal with the chemotherapy that was attacking the cancer, and then my body was also having to deal with the side effects. So there was an awful lot going on, and I talked to my mother about it, and she was really, really helpful, really, really supportive. And she brought me a mindfulness CD, which a friend of hers had made. And I used that. To help me relax and help me go to sleep sometimes. And I used it a lot when particular chemotherapy treatments. There's one in particular which I found really difficult. So I used that CD to get myself into a place where I was comfortable about what was physically going to be done to me, and that I wasn't upset. And I developed a kind of mantra which I said to myself, which was before chemotherapy was given to me, I would say to myself, I'm welcoming the chemotherapy into my body. allowing the drugs to come in. I want the drugs to be in my body. And I'm telling the cancer that it's okay to leave. It can leave my body now. And I said that to myself before most of the treatments, and it made me feel good. It made what was a really difficult time, lying in a hospital bed with drips coming out of me, and chemo going in, and my veins collapsing, and so the medical team trying to find veins in different parts of my body, the backs of my hands, my feet, all sorts of things. It gave me a little bit of control over what was happening to me, because I felt everything was being done to me. So I had to find something that I controlled and that I was in charge of.